Should be officially live. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and promote this all over the chats now.
Okay, I'm gonna promote it too.
All right, we should be seeing everybody
People,
pop in here now. All right, all right. Welcome, everybody who's coming in. We're just gonna give this about a minute or two as people start to join in. Let me share this live right here. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, with all the travel that I've been doing and stuff too, I haven't done even a YouTube live in probably like almost a month. So getting back into it now. All right, let's check the chat here. Joel, I don't know if you see the chat on the YouTube. Um,
I'm trying to find. Okay, I found the actual life.
All right, cool. All
Yeah.
right, let's go. So we got Ken, we got Frank, Francois, Joseph. What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing amazing. Welcome to another edition of Weekly Market Outlook, man. It's been a couple weeks since I haven't ran one. Obviously, a lot of travel has been going on. Things have been changing. We got a lot of exciting things on the way. But we are officially back. And yeah, man, just grateful for you guys to be here. Obviously, I let you guys know that we were gonna have a special guest in the building, and what more of a special guest than the number one educator on Akashics, man? Come on, let's go. So I hope you guys are ready. Hope you guys are excited.
You're
We are
the
going to be
number one, man.
covering a lot of amazing stuff here. But yeah, man, I wanted to first and foremost, obviously introduce Joel. You guys that are in Akashics already know the legend himself, but I'll let him introduce himself really quickly. And yeah, man, excited for your expertise in the markets, bro, on this call for everybody here to get some free value.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rich. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, everything is well?
Yeah, usually a little delay with the YouTube chat, but you should be
Oh,
good,
really?
bro.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me here. It's a privilege. I dream of this day to be on the famous weekly, analysis sessions.
Way
And
overdue, huh?
way overdue. Right now I'm in Michigan. I'm in my in-laws' house. If you can see this, this is like where my wife used to sleep. Now it's a crochet kind of room. I'll show you around, but anyways, if you guys see this background, this is not where I usually, stream, but this is where I will be streaming for the next maybe 15 days or so. Super excited to be here, guys. I've been trading for a long, a long time. I've been trading for maybe like 7, 8, close to 9 years. I don't even know, but it's been a while, guys. Almost a decade since I started in this industry of trading. And for me, guys, my goal is to help a lot of traders make real money because a lot of like the common issue I see in this industry is that people get started and they never like take them to the path of success. They just, tell them good things and cute things, but that's it. And so my goal is to, you know, align you with the right tools and the right knowledge so that you can do it yourself and that you can leverage, this and become a professional trader as well. So thank you, Rich, for having me on.
Absolutely, bro. And yeah, man. Well, first and foremost, obviously, guys, we just kind of want to address the elephant in the room just super fast. You guys obviously knew that I ran these Sunday market outlook calls with Brent for the longest time. Love Brent to death. I still play Call of Duty with him, still chill with him. He's super awesome guy, man. People just take different directions sometimes in their professional careers, and that's really what it comes down to. Obviously, to respect Akashex and the platforms that we now represent, we just obviously are gonna do trading value separately, again, just to respect, our companies that we're associated with, right? But that's all we'll really say about that. Just to keep it very short, very simple. So nothing but love for my guy Brent. But moving forward, obviously, I will continue to provide value as far as the Sunday market outlooks go. And I want to definitely take that initiative to, not just make it about me, but also give the public, right? Because not everybody that's on these,
keep it very
Sunday
short, very
market outlooks.
simple.
Oh, not everybody's on these Sunday market outlook calls may necessarily be in Akashic. Some of you guys may just be subs to the channel. Maybe you guys have been thinking about getting into, our private mentorship program. So again, I just like to continue the wave of at least providing one free call for everybody to enjoy. And if we can showcase, not just me, but amazing other educators and leaders, as part of our platform to give you guys a taste of what we do in Akashic, then that's definitely the initiative I want to take. And so again, I just came from a really cool trip out there in Utah, Arizona slash Nevada that we spent with Joel and Tori. And if you guys haven't checked out the YouTube video for that trip, definitely check it out. You guys will see us hiking some incredible views, me almost dying trying to climb through rocks until Joel saves me, all type of funny stuff. So, so definitely check that out. But, obviously, we've been planning to do something like this, but now we finally got Joe on here. But let's just get straight into it, guys. Obviously we're all here. We have to respect all of our times, right? So definitely don't want to take up too much of Joel's time because man, this guy, I tell you, like the whole trip that we were out, even though he enjoys life, this guy is always looking to make sure that his team is okay. Everybody's, moving forward, hitting their goals. So again, don't want to take up too much of Joel's time, but I'm gonna let him kick us off here with his analysis. Obviously, if you guys are in Akashics, you know that this is the GOAT of gold. And, he obviously has a lot of other value as well, such as crypto. But whatever you want to cover here, Joe, bro, if you want to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long you want to take, super cool. And just cover, I guess, whatever you want to cover, man. And just get people prepped for the week. So you should be co-host if you want to share your screen and just do your thing, bro. I'll get out of your way.
Okay, okay, perfect. Well, guys, I know this is the first time that I do something like this on a Sunday, especially on YouTube. So super excited to be here. So let make sure that everybody that trades gold, it's on this call. And I want to emphasize not just trading gold, but guys, we're gonna see a lot of NAS and gold together. And so make sure that you guys are also, understanding the concept of NAS. We're gonna do a lot of shifting into the way we do tap to trade when it comes to me sending tap to trades, like I mentioned on Friday, if I'm not wrong, or Saturday. And a lot of that I'm gonna explain today and how we're gonna roll up this strategy to call tap to trades. But that's why I want everybody to be on this call today so that we can spread that knowledge right now and you guys can be ready for the week. And so if you have a team, just share this link. It's nothing crazy. It's like the same we do in Akashic, but we're just doing it here for everybody on this YouTube channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and I want you guys to let me know if you can see it. Let's see.
You should be good.
Okay, perfect. I was trying to look over here on my phone, but yeah, everything looks good. Let's see over here. The chat says, choo I'm up 7.8%. That's good. Thank you. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Awesome. All right, guys. So you guys know that the way that I roll up tap to trade for the last year, or yeah, it's been a year, right, bro? Maybe like 13 months, 14 months, since we have tap to trade, have always been, on two things. One, focus on buying. Two, focus on percentage, right? So you guys know that because you guys are natural knowing the strategy of tap to trade, especially if you've been here for a year or so. I'm gonna open the YouTube live over here so I can see the chat. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Now we're gonna make things different when it comes to doing tap to trade and when it comes to me, moving forward with alerts, any kind of alerts that we do. We're gonna do trade alerts and we're gonna do tap to trade, guys. Okay. And the way that we're gonna use this in our advantage is that we're gonna do less trades and we're gonna pick specific areas that we're going to trade. Okay. We're gonna do less trades and we're gonna pick specific areas that we're going to trade. But it's only going to be based on the gaps. So you guys know I made like one or two sessions about this. The market always gives you gaps when it opens. So today in about 4 hours, the market's gonna open and it's gonna give us a gap. It's gonna give us a space like this that I'm gonna show you over here. This right here, guys, it's a gap. Okay. And I'm not going over like educational what a gap is, what it means, all of that in detail, guys. You can see it on Akashits, but this space right here in the trading industry, it's called a gap. Okay. And the gap, if you understand it, you can make money out of it. Okay. And I'm pretty sure maybe Rich has a different concept, or maybe other educators have different concepts of gaps. It depends on the asset, depends on the volume, depends on everything, the way that you trade a gap. The way that we trade it, or that I trade it, is just simple as understanding what kind of gap the market gave us. Okay. So first of all, this right here, guys, there's two type of gaps. And I'm gonna call it the bullish gap, and I'm gonna call it the bearish gap. Okay. Bullish gaps, bearish gap. And right here we have two examples of it. Two examples of it. One, this is a bearish. Two, this is a bullish. And I'm gonna try to replicate a drawing over here. Okay. So if the market is over here and we see that the market opened here, this is a bearish gap. Okay. This is a bearish gap. I'm gonna put it a B so you guys understand. So what does that mean? The market has to come up, fill up that gap, and then drops. Okay. That's a bearish gap. A bullish gap, it's the same but the opposite, if that makes sense. So the market closed here and the market open here. What does that mean? The market has the chance to go down to close the gap and continue its movement up. Okay. So those two gaps is what we see in the market every single day. But for me, the most important gaps are the ones that the market opens on Sunday for us, or Monday for some of you guys. These gaps, for me, it directs the direction of the market for the entire week. Every day when the market closes in the afternoon, a new gap is created. Some of these are small, some of these are big. And some of these we can trade them in like scalping mode. But the main direction of the market, for me, it's given by the gap on Sunday. If you guys notice, and we're going to talk about this on Akashits this next week, but if you guys notice over here, this gap that I just point out, it's a gap that happened on Sunday, April 20. And if you guys see this, this is a bullish gap. What happened? It closed over here, it opened over here. Sometimes the gap doesn't go all the way to fulfill it. But if we check this 1 hour candle, we got to see what it did. Because if it went down over here, it kind of touched the start of the gap. Okay. But if we have a better idea of what gap it's opening in the market, then we can have a better direction of the week. I'm going to be very clear with something here. Just like any other indicator, any other like market structure, any other thing that you learn from trading, nothing is 100% guarantee. Okay. So I want you to come with the mentality of like, I'm not gonna go all in 5-10% risk on this trade just because I know the gap is bullish or I know the gap is bearish. Okay. You gotta still follow your plans, your percentages, and be responsible with that. And so again, this gap right here, it took gold all the way up to the areas that we saw over here, 3,500, right? And if you guys notice, more gaps were open throughout the day. So the 20th, the 21st, it opened another bullish gap. 22nd, another bullish gap. So that week, the market was full of good gaps for buys. Okay. Now, if you guys notice right here, we see the next gap. which is a bearish gap. And if you guys notice over here, it fulfilled and it dropped. It retests this and then it kept dropping. And if you guys notice over here, this is another gap, but this is just a gap of the week, not the main gap. And so this gap right here, it was a bullish gap. And yes, we could, and I'm pretty sure we took advantage of this on some tap to trades. Look over here at retest, but the direction was still going down. Okay. And so why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you all of this because next week and for the rest of the month, we're going to be learning everything that we can about gaps. We're going to be learning everything that we can about this and how we can take advantage of this. And the way that we're going to do tap to trade from now on is going to be based on these gaps. It's going to be based on less trades, and it's going to be based on more patience. Okay? And yes, we had a great run for a year, sending probably more trades that I send now. Because at the beginning, guys, it was crazy. I probably will send like 10 to 15 trades in a session. We will go 10 winning, 15 winning, maybe 14 winning in a row. The next session, we'll lose some, we'll win more. And it was great. But as a cautious is evolving, I'm going to evolve too. And we're also going to start looking for sells as well. Look at rich faces. And so, again, this comes with the fact of sending less trades and basing the tap to trade strategy on the opening of the market. So let's talk about this week. Let's talk about what we can see possibly happening in the market. So for right now, okay, hold on, I'm seeing the comments because I think there was like a 20-second delay. Joel for sells. What sells?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know everybody, you see, it's a little delayed, but everybody had the same reaction. They're like, oh boy, here you go. Let's go.
Shh, don't tell anybody yet because I haven't released this. All right. So for me, guys, if we look at gold right now in the daily, there's a couple things that we need to be aware. Okay. There's a couple things that we need to be aware over here. First, yes, we know we are in the higher areas. For example, we know that 3,500 was the all-time high, and then we've been dropping. We've been created. How do you say it in English? Higher lows. That how you said? Yeah, higher lows. And
Yeah,
so
higher lows, higher.
right here, we created this resistant level, and then this is a higher low, and potentially with all these gaps, because if you notice, guys, if you notice last week gaps, look at this. When the market opened, I sent a message in the Telegram chat saying, guys, we saw a bearish gap. Market could sell. But honestly, I didn't expect it to sell that much this week, especially. I mean, last week. And so this gap, if you guys see over here, it fulfilled it and then it sold. It retested and then it sold, right? And then it retested and sold. And so even though I don't call sales or I didn't call sales back then, we always mention the opportunities for sales, right? But now that's going to change. Okay. So this week, guys, I think we can still see some bearish movement. At least there's a couple zones that I want to point out here. And if I'm taking too long, Rich, just let me know. Okay, and then over here. Okay. So for this week, guys, we still have the chance to see something like this. because this is not unusual to see gold do. Like we're very bullish. Don't get me wrong. We've been bullish for the past 20 years, 30 years. We've been bullish. Great assets always go up, right? Bitcoin always goes up, gold always goes up. Okay. But in the meantime, we are getting into a big consolidation, and this consolidation is huge. We're talking about to the all-time high to 3,100. That's about 4,000 pips in gold of a consolidation. Because if you guys notice, it's been going up, creating huge bearish, then created a huge momentum, then doing the same thing and doing the same thing all over again. And so with that being said, our main focus for maybe this month could be this box right here. And it all depends. It all depends if it stays in the box or not. Because if it doesn't, it could drop to this final area of 2,970. And this, for me, I think it's a key point for gold because we get the resistance right here before the break of structure and the retest that help gold get to the all-time high. So if we fail to stay in the box, we would drop below 3,000. But if we do stay in the box, this is what we could see this week. And it all depends again, guys. We're going to check the opening gap. But it all depends on that gap. But if you guys see this, we can see a movement to the next support. We're going to see another high low. Okay, another high, but it's still low. And then we're going to see taking all of this liquidity all the way down to this first zone. If you guys notice, this is not an uncommon pattern with gold. This is not uncommon at all. Let's zoom it out a little bit. There we go. After we get to this level, we'll probably see some recovery, guys, over here. And if we see this recovery, here a key point for this. Either it's here or here that this recovery will take us. Either there or where it's at right now. And this recovery needs to drop over here and it needs to continue here. If this happens, guys, if we see something like this with gold for this week or maybe for this month, then we can for sure see another retest to the all-time high. Just based on this market structure and only if this goes through. If it doesn't, if it struggles and it's doing something like this, then most likely, guys, we will see that next area below 3,000. And that's out. That's my weekly analysis. That's my big news that I wanted to share with you guys since you're being here. You get the juicy chisme for joining this live. And guys, just keep an eye for trail alerts too, because we're gonna do less tapped trades and we're gonna do just some trail alerts as well. All right, back to you, bro.
Let's go. All right. If you guys are excited, if you guys are ready for a brand new month of trading, you guys are ready to crush it with Joel's new methods and approaches, let's go ahead and get some energy in that YouTube live chat. Let's make sure we show some love
Hey, we have almost
because I'll tell
200
you,
people.
yeah, yeah, man. We've had like a total of 300 plus views, but just people a little bit in and out. But yeah, let's go, man. All right. So Joel, not, are you gonna stick around or are you gonna go ahead and
I'm gonna stick around, bro. I want
okay,
to.
all right, cool. Just wanted to make sure. Alrighty, awesome. So yeah, guys, we're super excited. Again, this comes off the heels of, wrapping up almost the first half of the year. I know I said it in the chat that we just finished the first half of the year, but that's not true. We got one more month and then we'll be halfway through the year. And but we have a lot of exciting things. I know you guys have been seeing a lot of teaser stuff of Akashic 2.0 and all that. So we have our big call with Josh Dwego, our CEO of Akashex, who's going to be doing those big announcements. We also have Zeus Trader, a lot of exciting things coming literally in the next couple days. So definitely a great time to be here. Um, but yeah, with that said, man, I want to go ahead and share screen here and keep things pretty simple as far as the NAS side of things goes. And we haven't talked about news. So, guys, keep in mind today we actually have some FOMC speaker stuff going on as soon as like the market's basically opening, which we don't really see that too often. So, this is something to maybe pay attention to, maybe something that gives us a pretty strong Sunday movement, maybe more than usual. But for me, like the main thing that we're paying attention to this week is NFP. If you guys, should know by now, unless you're really, really new, the first week of every brand new month is NFP week, right? Non-farm payroll. And on Friday, you will see that we have that non-farm payroll news. So obviously that's towards the end of the week, but we do have other things like PMI tomorrow that's high impact. So for the most part, I do focus mostly on USD based news just because we're trading, basically the US stock market. Not really ever looking at other countries' currencies or anything like that, just kind of keeping it straight to USD. And obviously this matters a lot as well with gold. Now, Joel is somebody that sends trades, throughout multiple sessions of the day to give you guys opportunities around the clock, regardless of your time zones or whatever the case is. But again, obviously, guys, just make sure that whether you are holding some of his Asia trades or London session trades or whatever the case is, when we start stepping into New York session and we have these high impact news events hitting, those are usually the catalysts that kind of like shoot us into the final targets or kind of start reversing us back to our entries and stop losses. So again, it's very important to always know where these high impact news events are, so that way you can basically manage your trades accordingly and know not to get caught off guard or caught by surprise whenever you see, those big candles coming through and those big spikes coming through sometimes as well. So yeah, just keep in mind, usually during NFP week, the market can go a little bit back and forth, and then on NFP we'll really get usually a strong move that kind of trickles into next week. So that's something that we gotta obviously kind of stay in tune with as the days pass by through our live sessions in Akashex. I stream Spanish on Mondays, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in English. Joel as well obviously has multiple sessions throughout the week. More towards like the beginning of the afternoon, kind of like towards middle of New York session. So make sure you guys are tapping into both of those sessions if you want to continue to follow up with these projections and things that we give you on this call. But yeah, with that said, as far as NAS goes, pretty simple. I've only really called out between live trades and trade alerts about 6 trades. So there's a big difference, obviously, with the ways that Joel trades and how I trade, right? And you guys are obviously going to want to utilize us to our strengths, right? Like for me, I'm somebody that I'm a lot less active when it comes to sending multiple positions. So that means that usually you guys can, if you want to take my trades or if you want to, take my alerts or whatever the case is, you're usually allowed a little bit more risk because of the fact that I've sent less, right? And with Joel, because there's more volume, he would probably tell you guys if you follow his risk management plans to use a much smaller risk per trade. So just always keep in mind, guys, you want to have a certain risk approach based off of who you're following, how many trades you're taking a day, a week, etc. But basically, over the last 2 weeks, I've been blessed to just literally go 6-0. Obviously, not every single trade was a winner. I mean, well, a big winner. We had like a couple break even slash baby wins. Then we had like 2 pretty strong wins. But again, I've had my losing streaks, I've had my winning streaks. So just trying to keep that going. But with that said, as far as what I see for Nas right now, you guys know that I'm always
Wait,
gonna tell you two
wait,
things
wait,
as
wait.
far
You had
yo.
losing streaks? I don't believe that, man.
Oh
Like
yeah, I've I've
you're
I've lost 3 in a row before, a couple of times. So,
wow.
but
Man, you're
I
the
don't send as many as you, bro. So like, sometimes I'm like, man, I'm not doing enough, but
nah, man, you're doing good.
yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, man. Like everybody's got to know that different personalities, different ways of trading, and ultimately what matters is more money in than money that comes out, right? More TPs and stop losses or bigger winners and stop losses. I think you actually had what was it, like a 1 to 10 or like a 1 to 7 recently?
A 1 to 10 in a London session.
1 to 10, bro. I haven't had a 1 to 10 probably in like over a year and change at least. So, that goes to show you guys like it's not always about winning every single trade. It's about maximizing, a really good trade when it comes around. you know? So yeah, man, we definitely want to try to come into June and do that as quickly as possible. Now, for you guys that know some of the concepts that I trade, I look at two main things on a chart. It's going to be imbalances, aka fair value gaps, and also liquidity. So you guys can go through my educator training series. You can see all my content. It's always the same. Liquidity is going to be any highs or lows in the market, especially when it's equal highs or lows. Some of you guys may know that as like resistance or support. And, that's going to really drive the direction of the market as far as manipulation. I really am somebody that just, looks for manipulation as much as possible. So whenever we have this big resistance zone that we had here on NASDAQ, that's just a lot of money that's sitting there, right? A lot of sellers that tried pushing price down. And when we made that big rally, that's kind of like obviously the first sign that we could see a manipulation is okay, we take out these highs. Now that we take out those highs, how do we react? Typically, if you have like, let's say a really strong resistance level, that could turn into support and then continue higher, right? Everybody knows break and retest. But sometimes you will have manipulation where, again, you kind of take out all of these early sellers with this big move up here, and then you start getting a drop. Okay, so this is a perfect example of sometimes why you have to be a little bit patient if you are a break and retest trader to really get those confirmations that a prior resistance is actually confirmed to now start turning into a new support. You're not always going to have that happen. So this is a perfect example of like liquidity and how I look at manipulation in the markets. So basically we had this big rally, everybody's like ready to continue buying, and now we've had a really big sell-off to end the week. So with that said, what do we leave behind after the manipulation? You have this really big fair value gap right here. This is that big sell-off candle that kind of led to the continuation of the sells. And so price is going to be gravitating to here. Okay. So we always want to keep an eye on the major fair value gaps. If you're noticing, I'm on a 4-hour time frame. So I'm looking at my entries and all that stuff on a smaller time frame, but I'm looking at these higher time frame zones because ultimately the higher time frames really carry where the market wants to go long term. So we see one right here and we see this big one down here as well. Now, sometimes people wonder, should we be focused on this one or should we be focused on this one? It's very simple, guys. Which one's closer? Whichever one's closer is the one that's more likely to go because price has to do a lot of, you would have to see a lot of bad things, I guess you could say, happen for price to get here. If price gets down to below 20,500, more than likely you're going to see that NFP numbers came back really bad, or that, these tech companies has some bad reports. There's going to be some excuse or something that happens that price is going to have to do to get here first. So it's much more likely for price to just travel up a couple hundred points to fill in this one than to be focused on this one for now. So with that said, if we open up the market, and I don't really trade Sunday, so we'll see if it allows us to kind of like sit around here first. But if we do end up kind of chilling out around, this area that we're currently in around here, then I would be looking for buys with the clear target of getting into rebalancing price here. So we need to allow price to kind of develop a little bit more, but the first idea would be getting out of this range to get into the gap. Now, once we get into that fair value gap, that's where we need to kind of see how it reacts because, we could expect it to get there, but we don't necessarily need it to reject from there. I think it will. I think we're going to get up into this gap and we're going to end up getting a big rejection lower, but we don't want to assume things. We want to respond to what the market actually is showing us. So again, I will always give you guys projections and, things that I expect, but ultimately I have to wait for my confirmations for entry. So if we get an Asian range that kind of stays around here or something like that, then we'll be looking for breakouts up to get into here. And then from there, we could maybe expect a sell-off. And the ultimate idea would be to target liquidity, basically all of these lows down here, and to get into the next fair value gap, which would be the major one down here. So basically short-term buys, long-term sells is what I would say is a summary of what I'm expecting. Again, that's on the higher time frames. Okay. So hopefully we get up into 21,500 more or less. And then from there, really start to see us drop to take this low and to start filling in some of this imbalance here. All right. So again, manipulation, drop, retest, continue. And I've taught you guys that model over and over, the manipulation models where you have price sit around for a little bit, price grabs those highs, fakes out, and then continues, right? So this general picture is what we want to see here. Excuse my Picasso graffiti over here, but that's basically it, guys, to keep it very, very simple. So from that point on, obviously now the main thing for our strategy is looking at how Asia develops. Okay. You guys know that my strategy is completely based off of allowing the Asian range to form and then looking for a breakout or a fake out of basically the highs or the lows. So Wednesday, heading into Thursday, we saw that price faked out the high and led to that big drop. I saw a lot of you guys take the sells from there. And then we had the very easy continuation break below Asia here to continue selling off. And then Friday was basically kind of the same situation where price, faked the highs and ended up dropping, breaking below Asia and continuing. So Asia is very important for me to kind of pull the trigger at the right time. So, again, hopefully we end up sitting somewhere, like this during Asia, and then we can look to buy up into here. That would be the idea for now. All right, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it for our analysis on NAS. Obviously, Joel did a great job of covering gold as well. Um, let's check the chat here just a sec. All right, cool. Awesome. So that's pretty much the main things that we day trade as far as like tap to trades, trade alerts, and the day-to-day stuff with the funded accounts. Joel, not sure, bro, if you want to talk just in case anything crypto related. I know once in a while you have like some altcoin stuff or just a Bitcoin analysis. If not, we can pretty much just wrap it up, but just wanted to see if you wanted to talk about anything like that.
No, I don't think so. Like we usually just analyze
Yeah.
Bitcoin sometimes on the live sessions.
Yeah.
And we had like the Wednesdays crypto, but since we had like a lot of focus on gold, then we have to just, push that one
Yeah.
a little bit away. Just I'm not gonna even share like analysis or anything, but Bitcoin it's been, all over, and I think it we could see under 100K. We can even see like 101, 100K, or even 96,000 before we
Yeah.
see another move. Like if you guys see the pattern that's showing right now on the daily, we can definitely see that push down, and there's been a lot of like movement with Trump announcing a bunch of stuff on the crypto market. And people usually think because Trump announces something with Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is gonna go up immediately. No, that usually just creates the FOMO, and that usually just pushes the market, down. Big institutions selling, trying to get more, trying to get the scary, and a lot of manipulation can happen, just like Rich is drawing right there. So I think that we are in a critical point to see Bitcoin hitting under 100K before we see another movement up too,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense, bro.
right there.
We've seen Bitcoin in the past before kind of do this where makes a high, drops, makes a new high, and then has that big bear, market. So I think that's something I've seen some people think about, history repeating itself maybe from like 2021. Obviously, in general, we don't want that. We
Yeah,
want to have our crypto portfolios staying up as much as possible. But something like this is kind of what some people are fearing, where we had highs, a drop, a fake of the high, and then maybe a correction. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, guys, Joel talks about zones and things of that nature, and I think it applies to anything you look at. So if you guys notice how important the 70,000s were that we talked about for a long time, 75, and then even 91, 90.
mm-hmm,
So price most likely, if it's gonna drop, it'll come to where price has sat around before. And
mm-hmm.
then from there, maybe come higher. And if not, come lower to here. And so I think with Bitcoin and cryptos, like we usually have a longer time frame perspective and we kind of play off these major levels and just see how that goes. But
Right. If you're
obviously, you guys, what's
Yeah,
up?
if you're not trading it like on your MT5s or trade locker
Right.
or whatever, then like don't even for me what I tell usually my family, because they're just investors, they just put money. Like I tell
Right.
them, don't look, like you
Yeah.
already know that money there, it's gone. So that's what I tell them, you already know that money there doesn't exist. And so don't even look, don't look at the graph, because now they're traders, because they've been trading with me in gold and stuff, and they
Yeah.
try to go inside and check the Bitcoin chart, and I'm like, you don't really need that if you're just holding. If you're just holding,
Yeah.
you're holding. That's it.
Yeah. If anything, you're just gonna scare yourself out of your position.
Right.
I do
Exactly.
the same thing with my parents, bro. I like My dad, he's been in XRP, Bitcoin, and all these things, and he'll hold it for like 2, 3 years. It hits a new all-time high, and we'll cash out. And I'll just tell him to keep doing that as much as you can over and over, just because they're not educated. But when you put your money in when it's low and you give it a couple years, I mean, these type of environments is, I wouldn't say easy, but I mean, this is
It's
the best thing for uneducated people to make money in the markets is just buy and hold cryptos over a long period of time. And
yeah.
I mean, we've seen that for the last 10 plus years, bro. But yeah, man, I don't know if you guys have any quick questions, because again, we don't want to take up too much of Joel's time here. But if you guys have any quick
Ah, come on.
questions,
You're being too
we'll...
nice.
all good, bro.
Hey, we're gonna be trading next week, next to the bullish bull. And
Oh yeah, we haven't even told them about that yet.
yeah. Well, don't tell them. They'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Just me and Joel and even some of the other educators. You guys are gonna see some really cool content soon. That's all I'm gonna say. Just stay tuned. We'll keep an eye on us over the next like
We're
two
gonna go
weeks.
and knock on the door on Powell. Be like, yo, bro,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
when are you quitting?
All right, let's see, bro. The Lux Algo indicator. So somebody asked about like an indicator thing that I use. Oh, you're talking about the fair value gap one? Just look up Lux Algo fair value gap, and then you guys can see the fair value gap stuff. You can literally look up any fair value gap indicators, and it'll pop up all those little orange. I mean, it's gonna show red and green. You just change the colors and all that stuff to however you want to do it, and it just highlights the imbalances for you. But I don't know. I did it manually for a long time. As long as you guys know how to see it on the chart, it's what matters. New York. I don't know. Are we too obvious, bro? Everybody's saying New York, New York, New York.
Oh wait, I'm muted. I say nah.
We're gonna be in a couple of different places.
We're gonna be
Maybe
all
New York is maybe New York is one of them. Oh man. All right, cool. Well, other than that, guys, we do appreciate y'all for tapping in. We had a total of let me see. Content on the live today. Where is it? Oh, here we go.
700,000 people. All right, that's it.
We've had a total of about almost 500 plus views. So that is awesome to see. But yeah, guys, we appreciate y'all for, being tapped in here. Again, we look to stay as consistent as possible with giving you guys these free type of calls for Sundays, just to give you guys a little bit of a perspective of what we see for the week, but mostly just to get you guys into the habit of not opening up your chart in the middle of New York session on Monday and trying to jump into a trade when you haven't checked the news, you haven't prepared yourself mentally, like you're just trying to jump in and make money right away. You don't want to do that, guys. The same way that, people are play sports, they warm up, they eat before a game, like they prepare themselves, for to perform. At the end of the day, like you guys gotta have that routine, and that's why we do this to give you guys a good, I guess, mindset heading into the week and just getting you guys ready. So
A good
again,
meal.
brand new month. What was that?
It's a good meal prep.
Meal prep. Yeah, exactly, bro. We're gonna eat some pips this week, so let's go, man. Bueno, I appreciate you guys for being here. Joel, thank you so much, bro, for being here. It's been an honor, man, to share the stage with you. Obviously, we've traveled the world and done a lot of cool stuff over the past 2 years, bro. But anytime I can do a call privately on my channel with you, man, it's an honor, bro. Thank you so much.
Hey, bro.
And well, I'll be harassing you over the next couple of weeks. You're gonna have to deal with me. So
It is what it is, man. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. I'll be here as long as I get invited to, and it's always a privilege and a blessing to be around Rich as well and Marianne. And so thank you. We'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you guys go into our live sessions on Akash. It's this week.
100%. All right, guys. Much love. See y'all on the next.